All right, guys, I'm right here back. Today is actually Sunday, and it's March 2nd. It's just crazy how the month has passed by. February just passed by really, really fast. And so this video will actually be dropping on Monday, March 3rd. Today I'm having a nice breakfast here at a local restaurant, and I just wanted to give you guys an update again as to what I have seen this past week with clients. This is just kind of like a weekly update that I'm doing right now. And I did have one person that they asked me for advice on their finances. They're having a lot of trouble. One of these clients, he is paying some child support, and so he's having trouble making ends meet. Now, this client at one point, he actually was homeless and he had nowhere to live. He was struggling, trying to make ends meet, and now he has a good paying job, making around $60,000 a year or so. And unfortunately, he's still struggling to make ends meet, trying to make sure he gets all his bills paid. And keep in mind that a couple years ago, if you were making $60,000 a year, you were actually doing okay, especially as a single individual. Even if you had to pay child support, you could still afford a nice place to live and have a nice vehicle. But this guy, he was living in his car, and now he's able to rent a room. I think he's paying somewhere around $700 a month, and even then, he can't save. So that just gives you a very good indication as to how expensive certain parts of the United States are. Uh, we are in Southern California, and he doesn't live in a city like Los Angeles or San Francisco. So imagine how much money you have to be making to be able to afford a decent lifestyle, especially if you live in a large city like Los Angeles or San Francisco or San Diego. You would have to be making over $100,000 a year to be able to just make ends meet. And if you want to save and you want to be able to take a nice vacation, you need to be making over 150 easily. Because if not, all you're doing is just living paycheck to paycheck. I know other parts of the country I visited. I've noticed that you could still live on $60,000 a year, pretty decent. And that's one of the reasons why now people they decide to shack up and share the resources. If two people are making $60,000 a year, then they could possibly afford a nice apartment and maybe one car payment out of that. So that's another thing that, as soon as people start making a little bit of money, they want to go and they want to spend it all. So this person, he went ahead and he financed the vehicle. The over I think it was over 25% over. I think it might have been a 7 or 8 year period. So sometimes what happens too is people make wrong financial decisions, and so a lot of the times it comes down to ego as well, because sometimes people their ego gets them in trouble. And so if you cannot let go of that and say, hey, you know what, I cannot afford a car payment, maybe you could start off trying to buy a small cash car. Right now, we're in an environment where if you wanted to, you could easily buy something under $5,000 that'll get you from home to work, especially if you live in an area like where there's individual lives. I mean, he can get back and forth from his home to work probably within no more than 10 minutes. Uh, he could possibly even use a bike if you really need to. So, but the thing is like I said, once you get a little bit of a taste of what it's like to make $60,000 a year, then all of a sudden you think that the sky's the limit and you can afford a $600 car payment. So, those are things that you have to be very wary of, that you just have to live below your means. So, if you're making $100,000 a year, live like if you're making $50,000 a year, and try to save as much as you can for a rainy day. Try to get yourself to a very good emergency fund, because you never know. You could end up homeless. This individual that I'm talking about, at one point, he was doing decent. and he actually fell into a situation of homelessness. And so this is someone that's not on drugs and is able-bodied, is not disabled, and still fell into homelessness. Sometimes it could be outside conditions that are out of your control that can cause you to get into that situation. And so that's why it's very important that you save whenever you can. Even if it's liquid assets, whether it be cash or gold or silver or any other type of asset that can be quickly exchanged for your denomination to be able to pay your monthly expenses, I think that's great. So that's just one of the situations that I ran into this week, and it's just a large reminder, even for myself as well, because even if you are even if you have good financial habits, you could still have the tendency to overspend. And it's very easy in today's economy, especially because we're riddled with ads everywhere. Telephones nowadays, they can pretty much read your thoughts almost. As soon as you turn on your car, sometimes if it's connected to your phone knows exactly where you're going to go to. And uh, there's just everywhere you go, you're just sharing your information as much as you want to not share. It's still readily available for the masses. So that's why it's very important for you to try to protect your data. And there's a lot of websites online that I've heard from YouTube channels that have promoted. There's websites that you can pay a subscription, and they will actually go around and they'll delete all your private information, because nowadays you just never know who might want to do damage with that information and cause disruption to your finances. Also, another thing that I saw this past week was something very interesting. Actually, I've been in this profession for about 20 years or so, a little bit over 20 years. And one thing that I did notice is that I had a client of mine. I usually try to ask new people that come to the office where they came from, whether they were a referral, and who referred them, because sometimes I do go ahead and compensate people that have referred clients. I have some clients that'll refer several people throughout the year, and sometimes I will go ahead and give them a little gift. But this client in particular would just surprise me, and I said, "Well, you know what? Like, I see you're a new client. How did you come across my information?" And he said, "You know, I'm an Uber driver. I picked up a person on the road, and we just started talking about taxes. And I told him, well, I just moved here, because he came from a different state. So he told the passenger, well, I just moved here. I'm looking for a tax person." And the passenger told him, hey, well, you know what? I got a good tax guy here. Why don't you write down his information? So he wrote down my name, address, phone number. The passenger had all the information on the phone, and he dropped off the passenger. And he told me, he says, I could not tell you who this person was, but it was just a random passenger on a random day, handed me your information. I called you, made an appointment, and here I am. So it's just amazing how far uh, your good work or your good deeds will do to be able to attract more business. So that's why it's very important to treat everybody with respect. All of my clients, I treat them with respect, and I make sure that I give them a good service. I continue to provide good service to all my clients, and that will bring more people. People on their own will refer you. There's no reason to go around and beg for work, because if you do good work, people will recognize it and they'll automatically refer you people. You don't have to go and do that. Actually, the majority of my profession, it's very rare that I will advertise. So I have done some advertising in the past, but my advertising budget, my advertising actual expenses yearly are very low. And yet, I have so much work, I don't even know what to do with it sometimes. And so I think that goes with everybody. I think their work ethic has to be good. If you want to be good at what you do, whether it be as an employee or whether it be as a self employed individual, you have to provide the best side of you at all times. And if you have problems that are personal, you have to make sure you know how to leave them at home so that when you uh, when you are at work, you will give the best to your clients, and they will all that energy. People will see that you that you are providing good service to them and leaving your problems at home. I think it's very important. I've gone to several establishments in the past where maybe people are grumpy, or maybe you could tell people don't want to be there. And so that's something that I know it's difficult to do because it's very difficult to manage your emotions. But I think that's another thing that you have to make sure that if you are at work, that you try to do your best to be able to just leave your problems at home. And then it'll shine through. People will be able to recognize that, you're happy, you like what you do, and just that on its own will bring you more business and will bring you more opportunities in the future. So that's one of the things that I did run into this week. And another one was I have a client that I've known for several years. And this client, he's pretty well off. He made a lot of money last year on the stock market. And we were talking, and he actually has an RV. He's one of the few individuals that I know that can actually travel all over the country now that he's retired. He pretty much does swing trading. That's his profession as of right now. And this client, he was telling me that his RV, he purchased it in Arizona, but he went ahead and he actually registered his vehicle. I think it was Montana. I think it was Montana. And it looks like over there you can register a vehicle and not pay sales taxes. Or he just travels all over the country with this RV. He saves sales taxes on about $350,000 of an RV purchase, which I think is amazing. So from what I heard was that you actually have to create an LLC in that state and then register that vehicle or RV under that LLC. It worked for him, and I've actually have seen several vehicles, several high profile vehicles where I live at that are registered in that same state. So I'm pretty sure that these people are using that same strategy. So if any of you out there could possibly benefit from that, I highly recommend it. It looks like it's a good deal, and you could save a lot of sales taxes. But make sure you consult with someone before doing that, because the last thing you want is you don't want to get in trouble for doing something like that. I'm going to continue and enjoy my day today, and this video will be up on March 3rd. I will continue to provide you guys good content that I think will make you guys a better person, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.